And it's very busy. I know y'all can't see. It's dark and moody in there, and kind of fun with good music. But they're busy, so your story's working out really well.
And it's 155 degrees out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep.
There's even people in the cigar room, so.
Yeah, for real.
And the fact that this, I mean, where we're sitting right now, this used to be a tractor and lawnmower repair place.
Yeah.
And so
Oh my gosh.
that's why it's like concrete floors. No, this was not us having the cool industrial aesthetic. This is what we could afford, people. Like this is this. And
That's
then
why the floor is like
it's
this.
like this. So don't roll a
Don't spill the whiskey,
marble.
but if you do,
Yeah.
Just catch it on that side. Like,
Yeah.
no problem. But we love it so much because this is literally, we built this and started it, well, he did, from the ground up.
Yeah.
And so showing people like where we came from, we just did this little by little as we could afford. And the fact that this tasting room is full in July on a Thursday when it's 100 degrees is pretty stinking amazing, because I can't believe it's here. We're really grateful.
I love it for what we've seen so far. And by the way, if you see us looking down, Betsy Ross is here. They're one of their pups.
Yeah.
Oh, the other one is here.
Raylan Gibbons.
Raylan Gibbons is here as well. So you see us, they're just saying hi.
we'll post some pictures if that's okay.
Oh, only if you tell her that she's the prettiest and he's the best boy. They won't
Okay.
have a problem with it.
You're a good girl.
So speaking of bourbon, you started this. You're the master distiller, right?
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit your thought process and when you were creating these and how you decide to taste them when you think they're right for bottling.
Yeah, okay, that's a good question. I guess the first part is I don't generally have much of a thought process
Okay.
behind anything.
In general.
We don't really plan things. Until recently, we didn't really write that much down. It's just not how I do things. So everything that we put in the bottle now is, and I don't mean this to sound, can I cuss a little bit on you?
Yes.
Yeah, cuss.
I don't mean to sound wanky, but it's just what I like to drink.
Yeah.
It's my palate. And so I can't tell you the science behind any of it. I can't tell you exactly how many milliliters is in each of the blended stuff. I literally, when we're say making our bottle in bond or our rose water or our small batch or our cigar for that matter, I'll literally sit at a table like we're sitting at right now, maybe with a couple of friends, Katie, some of our team, or just literally friends, and we'll just work through, let's say we're doing a bottle in bond. The very first time I made the bottle in bond was by myself, and I got to the profile I wanted. It took me 2 days, and it was a long process.
Did you hydrate, Gregory?
I didn't hydrate enough.
Did we eat properly?
No.
Did we get our electrolytes? Did you have your creatine?
I had to sleep under the desk one afternoon.
That's awesome.
But it got to the point.
Thank you for your service.
It was 4 barrels, and I just didn't know. I didn't know how many was in each barrel. It could have been 10 gallons, 25 gallons, 50 gallons. I didn't know, but I knew the 4 barrels I wanted, and so I blended them together. It worked, and so as a result of that, that's how we've continued doing it all the time. So whenever we make a batch, it is literally a batch from scratch.
Okay.
So we'll sit down, and nothing has until this point at least, has been more than 5 barrels. And so that's, the bottled in bond we can hit, doing 3 barrels if we get it right. That bottled in bond is the one I try and keep consistent. This is my, if I go to a bar and someone's like, oh, what do you drink when they don't have Larrikin? I'll just drink Wild Turkey 101.
Okay.
Because Turkey 101 to me is like the archetypal American whiskey.
Yep.
It tastes like bourbon should taste. It's the proof I really like at 101 proof. And so the bottled in bond, for instance, is sort of my Turkey 101. It's not, doesn't taste like wild turkey or anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's what I think bourbon. Yeah, it's what I think bourbon should be.
Sure.
And I made it, And if people didn't like it, I didn't care. It was just, I made it for me. And so that's now gone through the entire lineup of our blended stuff, is that nothing goes out without, literally me and Barb, our new lead distiller, doing it. But we also do it with the rest of the team. And, we have some great pallets that work behind the bar in our production area, and they all have input to all of this.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
and I had a friend of mine from another distillery here probably 2 or 3 months ago now, and we were doing one of the blends, I forget which one it was, sitting at the bar. It was a Friday, there was people everywhere, and I'm like, well, we'll go down and do it at the bar. And we have like 20 sample bottles out, we're blending them around, and we get to the thing, I said, yep, that's it. I literally take a photo of the 4 bottles. I say, these are the 4 bottles. I make it Barb's problem.
Thank you, Barb.
Yeah, thanks, Barb. I'm like, Barb, here's what it tastes like. And these are the 4 bottles, because she's in Denver at the moment. And I'm like, go and fix that up. And she does, remarkably.
She's incredible.
She's great. But this guy's sitting here and he's like, you don't really do it like this all the time, do you? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, this is not how you do it. I'm like, that's how we do it. And he was shocked. He mentions it literally that whenever we're together with other people, he tells them this story. But yeah, so that's we're not overly scientific. We're at an event or something. He always tells this story because he can't believe that's how we do it.
But that's the Larrikin
But
way.
that's the Larrikin way.
So where do you find Barb?
She's actually a Lawrenceburg native, Barb McDonald. She was the lead distiller at Law's Whiskey House in Colorado, and I'd met her 4 or 5 years ago, probably at the I guess it was American Craft Spirits or one of those things. And we just got to talking, and I was like, if you ever decide you want to come on back or do anything. And then about a year ago, I guess, maybe a little bit more than that, she came on board and has been sort of doing all the things in the back, because as we get bigger, there's from the founder's perspective, there's a lot more traveling, and you've got to do a lot more, from the sales perspective and the brand building perspective.
Yeah.
Like, Betsy Ross, stop barking, you silly dog. So it's been quite the journey. So that's Betsy Ross barking, by the way. If
Yes.
you hear that.
She's agreeing.
Yeah, she is.
100%.
So another blending question, because we've asked this. We went to High Bank. We've got other, distillers, blenders. They blend by taste only.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about how many years it's in the barrel. So you
Right.
kind of follow the same thing. It's like, if this tastes how I want it
Absolutely.
right now, I don't care if it's 2 years or 10 years.
Well, it's funny you say that, because when we first started, back as Lawrenceburg, we were releasing 4-year-old single barrels. And I went to a good friend of mine who's a very well-known distiller, not very far from here. And I was like, mate, I've got these barrels. I think they're pretty good, but they're only 4 years old. And he tried them and he said, when they're ready, put them in the damn bottle. He said, I work for a big corporate. We can't do that. But when the whiskey's ready, it's ready. I don't care. It doesn't matter if it's 4 or 10. He said it might not be any better when it's 10 or 12. It might not be as good. So we did that. We won a bunch of awards with 4 and 5-year-old whiskey. And that's sort of been how we've done it since. The thing now, we've got a lot of barrels that are aging into the 8, 9, and 10-year range. So we're pretty lucky in that we've got some stellar liquid that we can, we're most well known for our single barrels, I guess. We had been, but now we've got our cigar blends and our rosewater and things like that, which are a little more experimental, that other folks haven't really done. So yeah, but I think they're exactly right when they say when the whiskey's ready, it's ready, and it doesn't matter if it's 6-year-old or 8-year-old. Normally with a rye, which we don't have any out today, but with a rye, I think a rye is best around 6 or 7. The rye we're about to release in 2 weeks was not very good at 6 or 7. It's great at 9.
Thank the
Okay.
Lord.
Yeah, thank
It's
God.
great.
Yeah, because we were like, I got like 150 barrels of this, and I hope it's going to get better. But it did. It changed. Like
Got a little gray there.
over a year and a half between when we tried them. But I would always normally bottle a rye at about 6 or 7 years old. This one's going in the bottle at 9 years old.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, they don't really care about us, but one more thing. I am going to now put you as an honorary tipsy chick since you had to sleep under a table
Ooh.
because, that's how it goes.
Good. I'm down with
You
that.
are now a member.
Excellent. Well, I'm down.
Exactly. Bravo.
Now,
That's good.
we talked to this one, or I rabbited on about this one at the start, so I don't really have to tell you too much else about it. Other than that, this is the Larrikin bottle in bond, 100 proof, obviously. It's 8 years old. Some of these will tick over into 9 years old this year. It's our standard 75-21-4 mash bill, which runs across most of our bourbon, except this guy. And as I said initially, this is what I think bourbon should taste like.
Yeah.
Like I love our single barrels and everything, and they're all unique and different. But this is, to me, if I'm having a pour of bourbon or it's going into a cocktail, I want it to taste like that. This is what I drink at home. As Katie well knows, we have a good supply of this at home.
Yeah.
If I run, well, we have this in our small batch.
You just have a tap to the barrel, right?
Yep. Well,
Roll it home.
probably
Some
easier.
days it would be a lot easier.
Yeah.
But that, you know how I describe it? I was out pouring for some awesome people in Chattanooga, and they
Yay,
said,
Tennessee.
"Go Tennessee!" And they said, "Which one does Greg drink?" And I said, "Well, he drinks the bottled and bond." And it's no slight to our single barrel. We're started with single barrel, but it's just when the barrels aren't quite up to snuff to stand on their own and all of those characteristics, but they're still bloody good. And so you just take them and then blend it with 3 others that really help to round out those edges. And it's like, to me, that's Greg's chocolate chip cookie. Everybody can have the
Okay.
same recipe, but that's how he gets to make his mark and leave where it is. And I love this.
Ooh. Yeah.
This is the one we
Right?
try and keep as close to the original as possible.
But we're not McDonald's. Like, it's not just like, this is what it's got to taste, and
No.
this has to
No.
be this, and it's just by taste.
This is
But
good.
that's-
Yeah.
Like, how good is that?
I mean, it's got a nice, like, amber color. Yeah.
As we say, this is the best government supervision that we could ever ask for. So God bless you, Bottled and Bond.
I must talk about government supervision. I had a interaction with the TTB over the last couple of days, and the lady that helped me, I wish I could remember her name, she was awesome. So,
Yeah.
Dawn.
To Dawn at the TTB.
Yeah, Dawn
Thanks
at the
Dawn
for
at the
helping the
TTB.
little guys.
Thanks, Dawn.
Cheers, Dawn.
Yeah.
Cheers, Dawn.
Because everyone gives TTB shit,
Yeah.
sometimes deservedly, but not
But
most
not
of the time.
Yeah.
So Dawn was awesome today.
Okay.
I can see why that's for every day.
Yeah.
The thing I put it often would just put it on just a big fat ice cube,
Right?
and then the cube melts a little bit, and it
Each sip is slightly different. It
and you can
opens
sit out
up.
on the porch when it's a bit warmer, and
Yeah.
it just. But it also, again, like the small batch, you put this into a Boulevardier or a
Oh, gosh.
shit, pretty much anything, it works because of the proof. It's the
Mhm.
right. I think 100 proof to me is the 100, 101, 105
It's
is
like
my
the
sweet-
Cinderella proof.
Yeah, it's my sweet spot for me. And I think you're seeing people now, and this is anecdotal. I don't know shit from Clay, but I think you're seeing people. The hazmats are still there, and people love them. And we sell a lot of hazmat single barrels and stuff. But I think you're seeing the day-to-day drinker moving away from the high. They'll still drink a 120 or whatever it is, single barrel, on a special occasion and stuff. And I don't know if it's the economy or it's whatever, or just people's palates. You're seeing people moving back into the 100s, 90s, 88s.
Yeah.
Someone like Pursuit have just brought out an 88 proof, and it's going great for them. There's a reason Old Forester have had an 86 proof
Forever.
Yeah.
bourbon for
Forever.
100 years.
Yep.
Because people like it. It's good whiskey.
It
So
is.
I think you're seeing that happen a bit more across.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, gonna have to take a little more money out of your pockets because now all 3 are worth trying and buying, and all easy drinkers.
Oh,
For, yeah,
So
And I'd like to say if you buy all three, there's a discount, but there's not. Sorry.
we'll work on the marketing on that. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm not the market. Well, I am the market. Yeah, sorry about that.
This is a small company. We do everybody does a little bit of everything, but that's, yeah. We get rewarded during the business meetings.
I'm
All
not
right.
driving, so.
So
Why not?
now we're going to rocket on into this guy. So
What
this
is
is
it?
this is Echo 16, 120.2 proof,
Okay.
7521 4 mash bill again, and this one's probably about 9.5 years old.
Okay.
By the time it went in the barrel, we do the military alphabet, for want of a better term. Like, so we've had alphas, bravos, etc., etc. This one's echoes. I want to stop them at 20, but everyone's like,
What are we like, Gregory?
they're like, so this is
Everybody. There's like 5 of us.
Yeah.
Like,
so this is Echo 16, 120 and a bit proof. Our single barrels are literally what put us on the map. These have won, actually, the single barrel just won double platinum at the Ascot
Oh, nice.
from Fred Minnick. This won a platinum at the Ascots as well, just in the last couple, and so did that. But single barrels are sort of where we made our name, I guess, or put us on the map a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as I said, when we started with single barrels, this is a bit embarrassing. We started with single barrels because I didn't know how to blend anything. So we really had no option but to have single barrels. Right.
Right.
cross your fingers and hope they're good.
Yeah, like proofing was like, I don't even know about that. So everything we did to start with was single barrel. And we started with 4-year-old single barrels, and now they're starting to age up. And these are still our flag. This is still our purple label. Our purple and white label is still our flagship.
Okay.
So
Nice deep color on that one
Yeah.
for sure. Mm. All right.
one thing too with our whiskey and bourbon is that we won't put anything in the bottle that drinks hot. So it can be spicy in your mouth, it can be
Right.
warm, it can have all that heat, and can have a little bit of a hug.
Yeah.
But it will not ever give you heartburn or drink hot when you swallow it.
Thank you.
I hate it. I just
He
hate it.
hates it. I'm a nurse. There should be no esophageal burning. Like, what are we
Well,
doing
that
here?
sounds much better than heartburn.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
why are we doing that?
Well, the truth is, you're right. It's only hot in the mouth. Like I don't get that
Yep.
hug as they call it. So
I remember the first time that I was drinking bourbon and somebody was trying to convince me that that's what you should look for, is you should look for that burn and that hug all the way down. And
No.
I remember it was like, I mean, this would have been 20 years ago. I was like, why? I don't want to drink anything that you have to, the selling point is that it needs
Yeah,
to be burny
no.
on the
Yeah.
way down.
Somebody told me that.
What are
I
you
don't think I
doing?
ever would have tried bourbon.
Right?
Right.
Oh my God.
Like, why would you do that? But I think that a lot of people, and hopefully I think consumers are now coming away from it, that it doesn't have to taste that way. And it shouldn't in our
No, I
mind
think it's
taste
lazy
that way.
that it tastes that way.
Same.
I think it's lazy blending, bottling, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I've drunk so much bourbon that, drinks like that. And then once I started doing this myself, I realized it didn't have to.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of whiskey out there that doesn't, like bourbons
Yeah.
out there that doesn't, that are really well made, and and maybe there's a small amount of people that like that fire. It's just not me.
yeah.
So we will never put anything in the bottle that drinks that way, ever.
Yeah, again, this is a different type of peppery
Mhm.
and still a little bit
That's a good
sweetness.
one.
It's a little
Yeah,
bit
this
dry
is
on
right.
the end for me. It
That's-
lingers in flavors, but you're right. There is nothing burning down your chest, not even right past your little uvula.
Right. We want this is a nursing term. Like, we want it to be that full taste. Like,
Yeah.
Like I was
Yes.
telling somebody the
That's
other
what I was thinking. It's like this full mouth experience.
Yes, that's it.
All I can say.
Like, not that it's not right here, it's not right here.
Right.
All of it. It's not in here. It's not in here. It's not all of it.
Excellent.
That's how I say it, Gregory.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because that's what, like, we're asking for your pennies. And so if it's a really good single barrel, it should stick with you.
Yeah.
It shouldn't burn you, but it also shouldn't just disappear straight off your palate. Like
Yeah.
we want it to stick there and make an impression with you.
I would love that. I think a little bit of ice or even a couple of drops of water would make it taste completely different. Not
Oh, no, it does.
No,
it just brings
totally
it.
does.
There's just
It
Literally a
blossoms.
drop of
It
water
really
in the-
does.
this
It
much,
blossoms.
it changes it entirely.
yeah.
Sometimes you'll do it and it's remarkably better, or changes like to me for the better. But sometimes you can put a drop or two of water and it kind of screws the pooch.
Yeah.
You can say that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it kind of fucks it up.
Yeah.
And,
Exactly.
You know, so it's a bit of a crapshoot. But the single barrels, you're right. Again, a big ice cube in this, is particularly this kind of weather,
Well, yeah.
is
for sure.
just
And
fantastic.
we mentioned it's hotter than bottle.
In a hot tin cup over a fire. I'm telling you.
It's
Outside is
hot.
worse though.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and we're in a tin building or a metal building.
Mm-hmm.
This used to be way hotter. We've insulated behind these panels now and up there, and you know we're air conditioned in here, but
This is way better than outside. for
it's
sure.
still not. It's still 80 probably something degrees in here.
Let's
Yeah.
just not try to think about it.
But we're
I'm
drinking
not.
bourbon.
I'm just thinking about this delicious bourbon so far. So
Same.
It's all good.
So yeah, this is and these ones will obviously all be different. Our most popular when people come in here and do a tasting at Larrikin, I think our most popular is the single barrel tasting, because what we do is put. Sometimes we'll have a rye in there as well, but generally it's say 3 or 4 single barrel bourbons. They're all the same age. They would have gone in the barrel at the same time. Would have come out of the same tank invariably if they're like the Echo group, but they're all enormously different.
right.
And oftentimes it'll be literally barrels that are sitting next to each other, and people will be like, because I think we've got 14, 15, 16, and 19 or something up there now, and they're totally different.
Yeah.
And everyone's heard the term single barrel this, single barrel that, but a lot of people have never experienced the single barrel thing, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's what we do here with our. This is our what we call our personal private pick. So you can come and do your own barrel pick, and just take one bottle home.
Mm-hmm.
But these are all 8.5, I think. Yep, 8 or nearly 9 year or 9 years. So 8.7 and 9 year olds, 120 proof bourbons. And so you can come to the distillery, taste out of each barrel, and these are real barrels. They're not just plastic tubs or something behind the wood. These are real barrels. People can try it, and then when they think, okay, well this one's to my liking, they can then pull they don't let me touch it.
No, we
'cause I'll
don't
break
let you touch it. Correct.
They pull all the handles, they bottle their own and go over there and label it, and they literally have done their own barrel pick.
Oh,
Because
cool.
when a retailer comes in here to do a barrel pick, they get to pick from 4 barrels, which we'll bring in from the back.
Mhm.
It's exactly what punters can come in and do here. And
Okay.
it's been really good. People like it.
130 proof over there.
Is there?
There's 130 proof.
130.2.
Point
is this
two.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Oh, Kentucky Bourbon Boys. Yeah.
oh, is that the KBB
Yeah,
one?
the KBB one.
That's a really good barrel.
It is super good.
So we get Kentucky Bourbon Boys, or one of the tour groups for those of you that don't know who that is, and they'll bring all of their drivers and bookers into the main part of the distillery. So I didn't mean to do this. in
That's
front of
okay. I
you.
get it.
Into the main part of the distillery, and we do a barrel pick with them. And so when they then book the tours, or the bus drivers are out here and stuff like that, they can say, well, our barrel is in there that I help pick, and you know they vote for it, and it's a really fun morning.
That's cool.
And yeah, so it was literally picked by Kentucky Bourbon Boys.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, which is kind of fun.
Very cool.
So yeah, that's our single barrel.
All right.
Do you want
Now,
Yes.
pretty excited for this last one.
So this last one, I have to talk.
You're doing it.
Okay. So this one, thank you, Vanna. Don't make that face. Like, please don't make that face ever. He's not just doing this for television. He's like this at home.
That's
I'm
what's
serious.
great about coming to
Like,
Larrikin.
how, okay, so we've been married for 23 years. How have we been married for 23 years when your husband starts a bourbon distillery without telling you? By having really, really good bourbon. That's how you stay married for 20. Oh, and also you've got great legs.
Thanks.
You're very cute. You've got a good personality. No, okay, we're done.
Okay, I'll pull.
Okay, you point. So the thing about this that we did, so this is our
You gotta
cigar
tell me what
lounge.
it is.
Well, I'm going to tell them what it is, Gregory. Gregory, don't interrupt. So this is our our cigar lounge. Have you guys had different cigar lounges before? What did you think?
I want to see if this is going to best my favorite of the year so far.
Okay.
Ooh.
So the pressure's on.
Well, if it doesn't, you have to tell me it does.
The thing that we love about this takes forever to make. And so when we ask for your pennies for this bottle, it's not just because we're going to make a lot of coin and Greg's finally going to get a jet.
Well, Amburana is expensive.
It is. Well, that's the thing about it. What we did with this is we took 5 barrels and we didn't just dump 5 barrels in a blending tank and then take some finishing wood chunks and dump in there and stir it like a cauldron and then put it in a bottle. We took the time. So we take 5 single barrels and then finish them separately in 5 different finishing casks. So get your pen and paper. So we've got Amburana, Madeira, cognac, a maple finish, which is really fun because it's old barrels of ours that we then sent up to Wisconsin. They put their maple syrup in it, dump it, sent us back some syrup, and brought us back our barrels that had the syrup in it. So that's the maple finish. And then finally, jackfruit. So
Really? You
the
use
jackfruit wood. So not like the fruit when you're like
Right.
a vegetarian, which rock on vegetarians, but it's literally just the wood from the trees, right? And how did we get that? Because no one else wanted it. Because people up here don't know to use it. We got it.
Someone gave me the barrel.
Somebody gave it to us because they're like,
couldn't get rid of it. They didn't want it.
and we bitched about paying too much for Amburana because as little guys, we couldn't afford it.
Well,
He's
that
like,
leaks
well,
a lot too.
I'm just gonna, yes, it does.
And I hate Amburana.
And yes, he does. And so this guy who's awesome, thank you for this, threw in the jackfruit barrel. We didn't know how to use it until recently. Holy shit. It's amazing.
It's so great.
It is
killing me.
So good. So give this one a go, guys. We capped it down at 110 proof. This is batch 8 that you're drinking. Mash bill is a little bit different.
Oh, yeah, this is a high rye.
So this is a high rye, 60% corn, 36% rye, 4% malted barley, and you just have to take your time with that.
There's a lot going on with this bourbon.
Wow, there is a lot.
This is another of those that has evolved over the journey. I think we really dialed it in at about batch 6. It was still good. People loved it. People really liked it. We sell out of it every time we release it. But for us, for my palate, our collective palate in here, it really hit its straps on barrel 6.
Yeah.
And the main reason is because I cut the Amburana right down.
Yeah.
I hate Amburana. I think it's the worst thing to happen to bourbon since pouring honey into a barrel.
The cinnamon can take over so much.
Yeah.
So, and
So are you saying you finished it in all of those?
each one separately. And then what we did is we pulled out, this is why it takes forever, is because we pull it out in different proportions and figure out the blend of the proportions. And then we make it based on those proportions. So we don't just go, okay, we have 5 barrels and they're all finished and let's dump them all together and put it in a bottle.
Yeah.
It's literally taking the samples and going, nope, this blending, like we literally just take it, that's literally
They knit it.
like this.
Yeah.
We knit it together,
Yeah.
knit it together,
Yeah.
sweater, hat,
It's a
pterodactyl.
Beautiful warm sweater.
And it genuinely, and the thing too is we understand that a lot of people like Amburana, but like Greg was saying, it's just not our taste. But people look for it, and done right, it can bring a lot to it. You just don't want it to overpower.
I get different flavors every sip
Right?
Like,
without even
true.
water or
So the
ice.
first sip was really spicy hot for me.
Okay.
Second sip, man, it's really opening, and there's just so many layers to this. It's incredible.
It's really complex.
It's very
I can see why this would go with a cigar. I don't smoke them. I'm
Same.
not one, but I can see why it would match. Bring out when people say the leathers, the tobacco. I
Yeah.
can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I don't smoke cigars either. So when we made this, the deal was, it's great that it complements a cigar, but it shouldn't be only for cigar drinkers. I want to drink.
That's
I mean,
nice.
it's all about the company you keep and what's the occasion. Like
citrusy.
this,
and then-
I'm going to take my time on the porch, have a good conversation with my
And you
friend.
might have
Yes.
one.
Just have one, and it's
Yeah.
going to be really good. And I'm just going to take my time.
I mean, look at the
and that's
color of
that
it.
one.
I know the color's
Yeah.
beautiful. If you can see that, it's really nice.
The other,
Deep amber.
yeah, the other thing with this too that Katie alluded to is that the other part of the process that takes so long, it makes us such a pain in the butt, is that each barrel, different finishing barrel, finishes at a different time. So the Amburana barrel might finish in 2 weeks,
Right.
but the
So
cognac
porous.
barrel.
Yes, and we don't want it to get
Right.
too overdone.
So once it's ready, so you're looking at all these barrels like after a week, like every day almost. Or certainly the Amburana and the maple. And once it's ready, it may be 10 days, 2 weeks. We dump that into its own stainless steel. But then the cognac barrel, because it's nearly 200 gallons, it's one of those big, huge French cognac barrels, could take 4 months because there's a lot less wood exposure and that sort of stuff. And we've used that barrel 2 or 3 times. So that's going to take a lot longer. So you've got all the other stuff that's finishing as you're rolling, and then you're just sitting there waiting for the bloody cognac. And then you dump that eventually, and that's when you start blending it. So you've got that whole time thing that I was going to say continuum.
Oh, that's a big word.
Yeah, but I
Look
thought that
at
was a
you
bit
doing
sciencey.
big words.
But
We
it's
love
worth
science. Science tastes good. We love
Yeah.
science.
That really is good. Like, that's good. It's completely not what I was thinking in my head. The
What were you
jackfruit.
thinking?
Yeah.
Well, I thought it would be a little more cinnamon just because it depends, the Amburana, right?
Right.
I'm glad that it's not overly. Also, I was thinking it would be, when you started saying all of those, the cognac barrels can sometimes, for me, when they're with Madeira, I don't like real sweet. So then I'm like, okay, Madeira's going to be sweet. And then this cuts it a little bit, but then sometimes it's a little too bitter, or it's a little, I feel like your barrels and your timing had worked perfectly with this, because
Thank you.
I got the layers of different flavors. I keep getting them, even as I breathe in and I have air, right? And
Please
different.
breathe in.
I'll breathe in.
Every now and
I'm
then.
not driving, so you're
Yeah,
fine.
Who's driving?
Our executive producer.
Executive producers.
But I'm getting, I got dark fruits. I got a little bit of citrus in the beginning, like maybe
Yeah.
on my second
Yeah.
sip. I got a little smoke, from the char, a light smoke, in a nice way. I got my very first sip was like that wood, like a fresh wood kind of.
So
You knew it was in
you
something.
didn't, like, I got full mouth spice, like hot, the first sip. And I was like, uh-oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. And then my second sip, it was totally different. Like the spice wasn't even really there except from the first sip.
Yeah, no, I got the oak. It was like a fresh oak at first, and then it totally switched to just a little bit of the pepper. Then
Yeah.
all these other flavors just started like overwhelming me.
I get
In
a
a
little
good
bit
way.
I get a little bit of, and it's probably because it's in my head, but knowing that the Jakira fruit or the jackfruit is there, I always get a tiny little bit of banana, like that tropical thing in the back. Other people say coconut. We've had people say apple,
Pawpaw.
pawpaw. Yeah, people say pawpaw.
I got apple a little bit, like my
Yeah,
third sip.
a lot of people say apple and coconut.
Having another pour differently, it's tasting different again, right? A little bit, like it just keeps evolving. But I could see the banana too.
So when we finish filming, go into these, because we have a walk-in humidor here and a cigar lounge, but go into this humidor with a pour of
With it.
this and have a sip and, open your mouth and everything. It changes it. I thought it was bullshit because we have a cigar, what is it?
Sommelier.
Sommelier, internationally accredited sommelier. He's great. He knows
It's
cigars.
amazing.
And Chris is like, go in there and do this. I'm like, all right, amazing. It changes
Totally
it.
changes what you're sensitized to and what it pulls out truly.
Yeah.
Like truly.
Even if
It's
you're
a
not
gimmick.
smoking a cigar, it's just the
Totally
smell and the cedar and all that.
Yeah,
It changes it entirely.
Wow.
I could totally see that though, especially if you're breathing through your mouth and you're pulling in. That would be amazing. I'm going to do that. I'm saving that last bit to do that.
Yeah.
You have to.
I'm going to. Another thing that has to happen when you guys buy Larrikin, you're going to look for a kangaroo who's the mascot. So
Oh, am I meant to be putting this
yeah,
on?
it's going to look something
not gonna
like
fit on my
this.
I can't get it on my head. Hang on.
What, you do have a big head.
There we go.
That's
There you go.
Now, this is what you're going to look for when you look at the labels on the bottle.
Hey, fuck you.
Okay, you can probably take that off because it
It's
is
actually
hot.
quite good. I feel like a knight.
But you do have a nurse and therapist in here who could revive you.
We've
so you're
got
good.
you covered.
Yeah.
You're going to be
Well,
fine.
it's got a fan.
Turn on your fan.
Hang on. I'll turn on my heart light.
And by the way, the story is that, of course, when she's away, he buys things.
You guys, you have no idea on a daily basis. Like, thank God, again, that the bourbon's good because we'll come in and you never know what the FedEx man brings us. The other day we got a
Hang on, is that
koala.
now?
The other day we
Oh my
got,
God, that's great.
I don't see the downside. The other day we got, you just never know what Greg's ordered online. You never know.
That's great.
This sits in my office next to my desk,
That is
so I
amazing.
can pull it out at any time.
We absolutely respect your authority.
I do.
I
I bet
Hey,
you Brent
Curtin.
Elliott doesn't have a.
100%.
I bet you Brent Elliott doesn't have a rose that he puts on his head.
I bet he does not.
I'm going to ask him.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to come work
All
here.
right.
All right.
Before you pass out, let's.
All right.
Help you get that off.
Ugh, it's actually quite comfortable.
And it has a fan inside. Do you need to turn that
Yeah.
fan off?
No, I couldn't
Nope,
work it
got
out.
it.
Turn on.
Okay.
Woo, pretty face.
Was being like a knight.
It was.
'Cause it had the
It
little-
was awesome.
Like the armor.
Yeah.
Last question. Can you just briefly talk about the changing of the name?
Yeah. I mean, when we landed in Lawrenceburg, and you have to remember, we'd been married a long time, but we'd never been in the same place very long.
Right.
And
Together.
Together. Like
How's
different
that working
places,
out?
different sizes. The bourbon helps.
Yeah.
Different places.
I work a lot.
So do I. Different offices. But we really, when we landed here, we wanted to have a home and a community. So when Greg started this, without any discussion, it made total sense that he called it Lawrenceburg Bourbon Company because it's where we were. We finally had an opportunity to pick where we wanted to be and be here. And it wasn't until, by luck, we got on the roster to be at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. Like, we had our first public release January 26th, 2023, which is Australia Day.
Okay.
And then the Kentucky Bourbon Festival allowed us to go and participate that September. And when we were there, everybody came up and said, oh, so you're like Penelope. You guys are just MGP from Lawrenceburg, Indiana. And I went, oh,
Every
shit.
single person.
It never even crossed our minds that people would think Lawrenceburg, Indiana, because we didn't even know it was there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
again, did we mention that we didn't plan this out, And so
Yep.
that's where it really started, the wheels started turning. But we'd already won awards. We had fought so hard to get names on the bottle. And when you're little guys like us, like labels are really expensive.
Yeah.
And we had
Yeah.
no shit, just ordered the cups and the coasters, like these glasses.
Yeah.
But they all said LBC. And so we finally got to the point where we started realizing we still had kangaroos on the bottle, but it said Lawrenceburg.
Mm.
And we just really weren't feeling like we were in our own skin.
Well,
And-
no one's going to order a Lawrenceburg and Coke.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
Not yeah.
that we just, the longer we thought about it, we're like, you know what we need to do? We need to change our name. And we were with some really great friends, Gina and LaDonna, and we spent a day with them. And that night we came home and Greg said, let's change our name. We made a cocktail. I had my small batch. He had his bottle of Vaughn, and we sat there and I was
Mhm.
like, what are we going to do? And he was like, all right, let's start with an L. It's got to represent what we are because we have these like freaking glasses and
Right.
coasters and shit. It's got to represent like who we are. Why do we have a kangaroo on the bottle? And we used the Google. Thank you for the Google. Used the Google.
This was
and
pre-AI.
the first thing that came up was larrikin, Australian slang for a maverick. defies convention, basically doesn't listen to the rules. It was literally Greg Keeley. It was 100 freaking %. So thanks to Providence and Greg Keeley, we were like, boom, that's it. And every single person to a person, just like when we started this and we started putting word out, everybody's like, guys, God bless you, but don't do it. What are you doing?
Oh yeah,
like,
everybody said
you
that.
got to
Really?
like this guy of a certain age from Australia, this girl of a certain age from Wyoming, you're a nurse. What are you guys doing? You have no business doing that.
Everybody said don't do it.
Obviously, yeah, don't even ask about what the financial planner said. It's just like, clearly this is really not a good idea, guys.
Yeah.
So everybody said don't do it. And when it came to changing our name, we only asked a couple people that we really trust to be our sounding board, and everyone said, guys, don't do it. Absolutely the worst fucking idea. Whatever you do, do not change the name. And Greg and I heard it and we're like, we disagree. We're changing our name.
Yep.
And we've never looked back.
Best damn thing you ever did.
Best thing
And
ever.
We
And
did
it's
it in 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
So from the
Wow.
afternoon we decided, the night we decided,
Yep.
to when we relaunched at KBF the year later, or whatever year it was.
Yeah.
It was
September
8 weeks.
13th, 2024.
And in those 8 weeks, we hadn't done anything up until this point. Those 8 weeks, we redesigned all our labels. We bought new bottles. We had to do all our licensing through the TTB, get labels approved. We had all the neon signs in the distillery here and the signs on the outside. We didn't tell the staff,
Nobody knew.
so no one knew. So the tradesmen were coming in after hours and on Mondays when we're closed, and were putting up the neon signs, which we had to order and get them delivered and blah, blah, blah. And then we were covering them with painters' sheets and brown paper so no one could see it. So the staff didn't know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, our signage out the front was covered up
In
in
paper.
black plastic, I think it was.
I
I
can't
can't remember. Everything was covered, and no one was allowed to open any boxes that came into the distillery.
Because it was all the T-shirts. It was
Yeah.
it was all. Greg was really
Everything.
excited. He got to shop online.
Yep,
You
I
did a
did.
lot
I
of
bought a lot of shit online. It was awesome.
Yeah, you did.
But yeah, we did it in 8 weeks.
And that's
Wow.
like, we had a really awesome team here. And that's, yeah. I mean, it just goes to show that, like, just like everything else, and if there's one message that's really fun, and I think it's why people have supported us, is because they see, like, remember what's possible.
Yeah.
It's not every time that other people are going to agree with you. That's okay. It doesn't mean you're destined to be successful, but fucking hell, this is why we're here.
If you don't try.
So make it count. And if you're going to do it, go all in. Like we always say, like, if we're going to fail, we're going to fail bigly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because we've got to be all in, because we're the only ones doing this.
Right.
Like, right? So put out your best effort, make your best bourbon, fucking leave it all on the field. Like, let's do this. That's what Larrikins do.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
love
it.
it. I
Mhm.
absolutely love it.
Well
Everybody,
Well done, everybody.
yes,
Ah.
cheers to Larrikin.
Cheers to
Greg,
the Larrikins out there.
Katie.
To the Tipsy Chicks, you got great
Tipsy
taste.
Chicks.
Thanks.
Thank you all for joining us.
Yep, and hey, check out their stuff. I know you can buy it online because I have. And also, don't forget to like us and subscribe.
That's right.
Till next time, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.